fence posts for just a little bit. It's a job he could do. He just has to be really careful and make sure he uses plenty of common sense. It's kind of hard for him to measure it. His foot's a little smaller than ours. I like to keep it about 6 inches away from the fence.
Okay, we're back out here working on the fence. It's been a few days since Courtney and I drove all these fence posts, and just to get you caught up. So we got, this is the side of the farm that we haven't really hardly started on the fence yet. So we have about 2 miles, a little over 2 miles of road frontage. And so that's what we're gonna work on first, because we know we're gonna keep that fence. And then the internal fences, we're unsure which ones we're gonna keep and which ones we're gonna get rid of. So this is a 5-strand barbed wire fence, and like I said, Courtney and I already drove all the fiberglass fence posts down here. So now we're ready to run some wire, and Max and Hux are going to help me with that. So we just have regular old high tensile. It's 12.5 gauge high tensile wire, 170,000 psi. Is what I like, because you can actually still bend it. So the 200,000 is so stiff that it's really hard to work with. This is a lot easier. So here's a couple little tips here. So I don't have that much wire on here right now. I mean, it's enough to use, but I'm gonna have to splice it. So I'm gonna tie this. I know I'm gonna run out. This is what I'm getting at. So I'm gonna tie this extremely loose. Basically all I'm gonna do is put one little wrap on it. That's it. So when I do run out, I'm not dragging this spinning jenny down the fence line. The other thing I'm going to show you here, Max, let me just see that for just a second. So the other thing I want to show you is how I hook this. So here's the other end of this wire. So I just barely hooked that thing. Now it has to be hooked, otherwise it will get caught up and get kind of like tangled in all your other strands here. But especially when I know I'm going to run out, I don't want to drag this spinning jenny down the field. It's like, I don't know, 150 bucks. So I don't want to ruin it. But so basically I just barely got a little hook on that thing. So when I run out, it'll just come undone. It'll be fine. So, all right, now we're ready. I got it, like I said, hooked to the four-wheeler here. And I just put it right on the corner. So that's where we're going to start. And then we got to go all the way down this fence line. Well, you'll never see the end of it. It's a long ways. So, okay, I'll have Max kind of video me a little bit while I'm running this thing out. And the key to this is to go slow and steady with the four-wheeler. So I'm not pulling this thing by hand either. It'll take forever. So, but if you're going to use like an ATV or UTV or anything, the more steady you can keep your pace, the better. So slow and steady. If you slow down and stop, you could get your wire tangled up and cause a big issue. So, all right, here we go. You can see this is a busy highway. So we need this fence to hold the sheep. We don't want them getting out on this thing.
How much wires are you going to do that?
Oh, it's probably a few hundred yards. right, so ran out of wire here, which we knew we were going to. So it did come off the spinning jenny. Which naturally, on a video, what I'm trying to show you how to do it, it didn't work right, and it did flip it over, and before it came undone, it did break my little handle off there, which I never really use it anyway. But anyway, that's what happens when I try to show people how to do something. It doesn't work. Anyway, it did not tear anything really up on it. It did flip. So you can buy this, and you can buy this in 2,000 and 4,000 foot rolls, but I always just get the 4,000. That's what they carry at our local MFA, so it's pretty convenient. I don't know if if anybody didn't set one of these up before. So this spinning jenny has these set screws, so you can kind of, basically it holds the wire in place. So we'll just throw that on here.
Throw it on?
Yep.
Put it on?
More put it on than throw it. Yeah, throwing it might be a little not very wise. All right, I put it on there.
I mean, 904.
Yeah.
You 14.
Almost.
13.
Almost 15. All right.
And then we
So
need 15, then we need 14. Maybe 67.
stop it.
Or
All
it
right.
might be 67.
Stop it. All right. This is what happens when you bring your kids with you to work.
Stop.
So you tighten these babies up. Tighten these set little lock bolts up there. So that's gonna hold the wire in place.
Yep.
And then
wire.
so you want to get it as centered as you can, so it's not wobbling all over the place. And then sometimes the hardest part is cutting these straps. So on this roll of wire, you have one end on the inside, and then you got another one that's more on the outside. So the inside one, that's the one you're going to tie off. So you want to just kind of basically just hook it
We do this.
there. All right, Max, you hold it right there.
You
gonna be able to do that?
Part.
And like I said before, you just want to kind of hook it just enough to where it won't come off, but if you run out of wire, it's not going to drag your spinning jenny too far. Maybe just flip it over once.
The hardest one.
So I just kind of hook it like that. That's the end. And then these little straps can be kind of a bear to get undone.
Did you not do that with your real knife?
Well, a knife won't cut it.
Can you do it sometime?
Yeah, I would like for you to. So here it actually even says on there start. So that's the outside one.
Just to measure it.
It's not that easy, buddy. Otherwise, I'd love to have you do it.
It feels real easy than I could do it too. Dad.
That's right. It's always good to have plenty of help when you're trying to set one of these up. And then they give you plenty of commentary.
And that gonna help.
Yep. That's right.
In a minute.
Okay, so I always like to save the starting one for last, because then you know your wire is not going to go crazy on you. So all right, right, Max, I'm gonna need you to hold this because I can't do that.
Why can you not do
If you've set these up before, this is probably terribly boring for you, but if you haven't, you're wondering how to do it. That's how I do it.
Everybody else.
Maybe it's easier for everybody else, probably. Okay. So we got it loose. Here's the end we want to tie to the four-wheeler. So we already tied the other one off. So now we have another 4,000 feet to work with. All right, Hux, go ahead and, that's not how you unroll it though. Remember, you just pull it. Huck, or Max, why don't you go and turn the four-wheeler around so it's facing the right direction. Hux, you can stop right there, buddy. No, you're fine. Go ahead. Just line it up with the fence. Boys are crazy. That would actually work too. I usually do wrap it one more time than that though. Watch this. Yeah. Well, yeah, unhook it. Then you go like that, then wrap it one more time. There you go. Now hook that piece back on there. And you can just bend it a little bit. I don't want to do too much. Yeah, that's plenty, hooks. Right there. That's exactly where I want it. All right, so now we're ready. And we have that short line right here. I'll show you how we splice that here in a minute too. So another thing is, you can have somebody watch this thing, but you don't want them to have their foot or anything else around it, because, I mean, if you're, you know, a couple 100 feet away and they have their foot in there, it could easily break their foot, because this is going to keep on spinning if you're pulling it with a four-wheeler. So I prefer not even to have anybody look at it. I just take off. And that's why I tie it so loose, because if something does go wrong back here, it'll just come undone from the four-wheeler. And I don't have to worry about anybody sticking their foot in there while they're not paying attention, or sticking their hand in there trying to correct the wire and getting their hand broke. So I just take everybody with me, especially when they're this age. All right, let's go and pull this wire. Hux, why don't you ride with me, and Max, you can take yours. Also makes it nicer when it's really humid outside to have a little extra body heat. It makes you sweat twice as much. So I kind of drive as close to the fence as I can, so then I don't have to pull the wire over so much later. So I don't want to drive, you know, any farther away from the fence than I have to. It drops off really steep over here, so I'm going to have to get away from it about 5 feet. But so here's something I look for. Here's something I check. I'm gonna break my first rule and stop, so I can show you something. So here's something I kind of keep an eye on at all times. I'm always watching, see how loose that loop is that we tied. If it's loose, then we're good on the end. If that thing gets really tight, snugged up to this bar, you probably have problems back there. You better just stop and go check it out. I'm watching that like constantly. It's hard to tell if it's, when you're on a four-wheeler, it's hard to tell if you're pulling, you know, if the wire's pulling harder than it should. as soon as that loop cinches down, you know it's pulling really hard. It's probably, unless you have a really long run, you probably have a problem back at the spinning jenny. Some people do put the spinning jenny like on the four-wheeler, on the UTV. That's fine. I like to use the four-wheeler for this job, and it just does not. I don't have enough room on the back to have that spinning jenny back here. So that's definitely an option too. And the spinning jenny is actually with you. To the next gate, so we're gonna cut the wire here anyway and have a gate. So we're gonna stop here, make our lives a little easier, and we'll just do, I think it's gonna be like 7 short runs to make up this 2 miles. So we already did some of it, but all right. So you see how loose that still is on that knot, or on that loop there? That's good. That means there's nothing wrong, most likely nothing wrong back there at the spinning jenny. All right, so we got that taken care of. Now while we're here, this is my corner post, and I'm gonna tie off, whenever we're done, I'm actually gonna tie a wire from the top of this one around this metal pipe.
You mean
And then
around that metal chain?
Nope, the pipe. So that'll hold this post. This is actually only a 4-foot fiberglass rod. It's a 1-incher.
It's been on that day.
But it's going to be tied off to that pipe. So, all right, let's go ahead and tie this down, and then we can start on the next run.
I've never seen no.
So, Huck's. So I like to have plenty of extra wire on the end. I'll show you why later, but for now I'm just going to tie it off. So always do, I do a double loop on it, or double wrap. Then I do about 5 rounds here, 5 or 6. You just make a hangman's noose. It's nothing fancy. All right, so I have plenty of extra wire, and I'm going to leave that sit, and I don't care about the height. I'm just getting the wire tied off. Doesn't matter, it can go up and down for now. That's all something I'm going to do later, is to actually set that height and, you know, tie it to where it won't move up and down. I'll do that later. So, all right, 1 strand done, and then I'll go show you how we put a splice on this thing. All right, so this is that first wire I ran. I ran out about halfway down this fence line. So now I'm gonna have to splice it. And then before I spliced it though, I went and ran this full length wire right next to it. So they're both tied off on the end, on opposite ends. This one's tied off at the beginning, and this one's tied off on the end over there. So here's how I splice them now. I used to use actual crimps and splice them, but here's how I do it now. So I just bend this wire about 8 inches back. Just make it a little, just a bend, simple. And then I think it's called a figure 8 knot. It's really, or yeah, it's a knot actually. So I leave myself plenty of slack. I cut that full length wire, and it's also tied off on the end. So The trick here is to go under, then you gotta go over the end here, and you go back under the wire. You don't want to cut yourself too short because then it makes it hard. Basically go under over every single time. If you go, you just keep switching it up from under and over. And here's how it ends up. So that's how it ends up. And the harder you pull on that, the tighter it gets. And it's not coming out. So instead of using like a crimp, that's just another tool I had to bring. I mean, I have it. I used to use it a lot, but then I got tired of messing with it, and that's always the weakest spot. Or actually these knots. I haven't had one give yet, and I haven't had one break yet. So, and then like I said, the tighter you pull on it, the smaller that knot's gonna get. So it's a really loose, I had to do this one right in the middle. So it's not tight yet, but it will cinch down and it'll be a really small knot by the end of it here. So, and I just leave those long tails on it for now. And then whenever I tighten this fence up, I snip most of that off so it doesn't get, you know, caught up in like my barbed wire fence eventually. So, but that's how I leave it for now until everything's tight. So it's just, and you can actually still pull them. If Max pushes on your end, no push, that's pull. You can kind of slide them apart still right now. But obviously your fence doesn't ever get pushed, it only pulls. So it'll keep getting tighter. So, all right, now we got that spliced and we're back. Since I had to cut this wire, we can just start it right here. So our spinning jenny's up on the hill there. And this wire, here's what we were using. So I'm gonna go ahead and tie it back off. So I'm gonna drive all the way back. And then we'll finish this fence out, going up to the top of that hill. And then, yeah, we'll be done running wire for a little bit, and we'll show you how we do these clips and stuff. Okay, so I'll show you how we grind these how we clip basically these wires. So here's the fiberglass rod, and there's my stick I use to measure. I just use 3.
Also do the broken one.
Yeah. So this is just just have a Dewalt hand grinder, just electric, or it's battery powered. So, okay. Little notch there. I'll show you how quick this goes.
Those are nice.
That's it. Done. Alright, I'm going to show you how we clip these wires on. So you just got to obviously make sure you have the top one on the top clip, or the top grind mark here. So then these are just the rebar tie wires is what they are.
I'm tired of standing.
Okay.
We're almost done standing.
And you just twist it 2 times. Done. And the other one, bottom wire, put it in the notch. So it should sit down into that notch a little bit.
You might get to see the grass a little bit too.
Yeah, might have a little grass in there.
Go on, take your video to ground.
Yeah.
Go on, take your video to really.
So hopefully Hux was able to get that. I'm sure he did. But it goes pretty quick. And you can see how the wire still can move back and forth.
I just tied in.
It's sliding in and out. So that's where that grind mark comes into play. Let your wire move back and forth. And there's no way it's coming off of that post. So, alright, we just got about another 100 more of them to do, and we'll be done with this, and I'll get the wire tightened up. I haven't tightened the wire yet, so I can show you that at the end. Okay, so we got these 2 electric fence wires ran here, and they're tied off on each end, but the height hasn't been determined yet. So here's how we keep them at the height that we want them. So this is just some 14 gauge tie wire. And I'm just gonna cut that to length. And I got my measuring stick. Measure that, set the bottom wire, and then basically just split that wire in half, and I wrap it around the fence post and then come back. So then I can tighten that up, and I'll show you a closer picture here in a second. I kind of snug it up with my pliers. Got a bunch of grass in the way. I do the same thing on the bottom. Wrap it around it twice, and then I just snug it up with my pliers. I clip any long ends off so it doesn't get tangled in the barbed wire fence. And then, so that's the bottom one done. And it will not slide. It's in there. So like this top one, I mean, you can put it anywhere you want. But obviously you don't want it to move on you once you have your fence in. I'll set that at 3 and 5. Top one's at 5. I'll measure it here in a little bit and kind of show you how high we're going with these.
You probably could see Dawn up here in the camera a little.
Maybe. We got Max and Don helping us clip. So
Max might be doing the top one, and then Dawn might be doing the bottom one.
yeah. So I just went through.
It's taking a little longer.
So me and Hux went through and we put the grinder on it and put notches in every single post. 2 notches, one for each of these wires. And then Max and Don are going through and...
So then they know where to put them.
That's right. Exactly right. So, all right. Let me show you how that turned out. So here's my tie wire. I just wrapped it twice around the top, and now wrapped it twice around the bottom part of it. So then there's no way for that wire to slide. So when we have this thing hot, the electric fence is going to be coming, the charge is going to be coming from that direction. So I left these long tails on this fence. So now I'm going to take this extra tail here and I'll just tie it up to this top wire. So then basically it'll make both wires hot. So, and I'll just clip that one off. And then the last part is I need to tie off the top of this fence post. So Hux, can you come here for just a second and I'll show them how to do that?
I'll hold the camera.
All right, you hold that. So, just some.
I know where to side a little bit.
So, like I was saying earlier, this is only a 4-foot post. And it's probably 20 inches in the ground. It's not that deep. So, but it's really rocky right here. And you couldn't probably go that much deeper anyway if you wanted to. So here's how we reinforce our end post when we're doing an offset. I think your hand is. So we're basically just going to tie off to this metal pipe here. So I'm just going to take it like that, just snug it back to that pipe, and now I loop it around several times to make sure there's no possible way it's ever going to drop down and hit the actual fence, because that would ground out the whole fence.
We don't have very much sheep on our farm.
So here we go. No, not compared to the rental farm, do we? Got a lot more here.
Yeah. Instead of our farm.
Hux always wants more.
Why?
Can't ever have enough sheep, can you? All right, so it's clipped off the loose ends or the long ends. So there's kind of the finished product on how we do our, this is only on offsets that we do it like this. On if this was a freestanding electric fence, so not an offset, we would put a bigger corner in and stuff. But since we have something to tie off to, I just don't really see the point. I just put a smaller fence post in and tie the top off. There's no way that I haven't had any issues with that moving. So now we're ready to finish clipping. So they're halfway down, well, close to it. So me and Hux will start on this end, since we have it all the post ground already and marked. So we'll start clipping from this end and meet them in the middle. All right. All right, so we got the wires ran and all the clips on, and now we're just kind of trying to see where we're going to put the tightener on, basically. So you should probably go fairly close to the middle. I'm not super close to the middle, but also I like to put these tighteners on a spot that I'm going to see them and I'm going to remember where they're at, because I need to tighten this fence up again. So this is where I'm going to put it a little bit closer to this end. But as you can see, the wire is quite loose right now, which is fine. We're going to put these daisy tensioners on it and getting it all tightened up.
All the way.
So, all right, Hux, you're up, buddy.
There you go.
Thank you. All right, so this is the tool. You can also use like a socket for it. Just has a square end on it.
Oh,
This is the daisy tensioner. And you slide it in there.
Slide it in, and I know how to tighten it up there.
And you just tighten it up.
I know how to do that, Dad.
And I mean, it's snug. It's not bowstring tight, it's just snug. It's not gonna, yeah, I don't like it so tight that it's gonna break. That's it. Just put that little keeper in it. That's how the daisy tensioner. And you can see it's pretty tight. Basically, I want it tight enough to where it's not just gonna push right up against the barbed wire fence and get shorted out, you know. So, but there is such thing as too tight. All right, now let's do the bottom one. So here's,
that one.
I offset these a little bit.
I'm gonna sit down.
Hux is getting worn out. He has to sit down. This is the one we spliced, so it's extremely loose. I'm gonna give it a little extra tightening. And then here's the little keeper.
Yep, that will keep it in place with. If we don't put that on, it'll just unroll.
That's exactly right.
And then it'll get really, really, really loose.
You know, everybody needs a Hux. They can show them how to, tell them how to do stuff, right? He's pretty good.
Why do you put down?
He's one of the best.
Yeah, why do you put down further close?
Actually, now that I kind of pulled on that one, I'm gonna make it just a little bit tighter.
That's because you painted in. They're very tight.
Yeah, you're correct. All right, so I got the keeper back in it. So that one, the bottom one's the one I had that knot in, that figure 8 knot, to splice it. So odds are I pulled the knot tighter. Down there is what you make it. But yeah, you don't want to pull the bottom one so tight it loosens the top one either, but that's still tight enough. Okay, so that's all it takes. And then yeah, if you notice it gets loose or anything, all you have to do is take the keeper out and bring your tool with you and tighten it up a little bit. It's really easy. So, all right, this fence here is pretty well ready to go. Let me show them how it looks now.
I already did that.
You did that already?
Yeah.
Good job.
But I didn't show that side though, Dad.
Let's see if it'll hold a Hux. You go stand next to the fence and see if you can get out. Oh, he still can. So he's about as hard to, he is almost as hard to keep in as a goat. It's right here. Maybe even harder. That's probably far enough. We don't want you running out on the highway. All right. So this is pretty well the full, you got the full picture of this end of fence. And yeah, we just have a bunch more to put up and we'll just keep plugging away at it. Thanks for watching.